Cruise news time. Well, Royal Caribbean has announced a big new feature in their mobile app on the smartphone. It begs the question, do I need a smartphone to cruise? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, today's show, we're going to focus on this idea, do I need a smartphone to cruise? Here's the layout of the show. We're going to cover the news article. Then I've got a list of 9 ways that the smartphone is currently being used on a cruise. I've got another small list of a few ways I'd like to see the smartphone being used on a cruise ship. And then finally, we're going to settle the age-old cruise debate. Do people actually use their mobile devices on a cruise ship? There's a pretty vocal group out there saying that mobile devices should never be used and they never use them. Well, how many people is that, percentage-wise? We had about 8,700 people respond, so that you'll get a good answer to it. Let me start off with this. Let me talk about one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to using these features that the cruise lines have put into their mobile apps on the cruise ship. There is a misconception that you have to buy an internet package for most of these things to work. The reality is it's just not true. Think of it like this. You need to buy the internet package if you want to check your email, if you want to use social media, if you want to stream videos on YouTube, keep up with La Lido Loca on the daily. If you want to do those things, you need to buy an internet package. But if you want to use the e-muster feature on the app so that you can do your muster drill, where it is required that you connect to a Wi-Fi source, you're not going to get charged for that. The ship has its own internal Wi-Fi that they let you use. It doesn't cost anything, and most of these things that we're going to talk about uses that Wi-Fi. Has nothing to do with using Wi-Fi externally. Like I said, social media, check your email, go on YouTube, all of that stuff you do have to buy a Wi-Fi package for, but most everything we're going to talk about in the show today, you do not. All right, the big cruise news story. I saw this first over on Royal Caribbean blog. Big shout out to Royal Caribbean blog. Matt over there reported that Royal Caribbean is rolling out their chat feature, their person-to-person chat feature that is done through the app on Royal Caribbean to all of its cruise ships as the cruise restart happens here in 2021. This will be for people that are on the ship, that are connected to the ship Wi-Fi. There is a cost associated with this because this is an additional feature. It's $1.99 per person per cruise. Now, another cruise line, Carnival, they've had this feature for a long time. Ever since I've been cruising, you could chat with their hub app, and theirs is a little more expensive than Royal Caribbean, $5 per person per cruise. And I think it's good that the cruise lines are building in a chat feature to the app so people don't have to buy the Wi-Fi. Many people will buy the Wi-Fi so that they can use their Facebook Messenger or they can use their Apple iMessages. All right, that was the cruise news story. Now let me tell you 9 ways that these apps are being used on cruise ships right now, some of the functions. The first one, and this is a big one post-COVID, is embarkation. A lot of times when you would go to embarkation, you'd have to have paperwork, that kind of thing. Much of this is being done on the mobile device, on the smartphone now. You can have your ticketing, your boarding pass digitally. You can have your identification digitally. So much of this now involves doing the pre-check-in process online and then just showing up with your mobile device, showing a code, and getting on the cruise ship. That's going to be more and more evolved over time. Of course, the muster process, one of the big silver lining aspects of the cruise shutdown is the cruise lines came back with a new muster process that does away with everybody congregating together on the deck. And yeah, the smartphone plays a component for that. And let me say this, as I go through the list, if you're somebody who doesn't use your smartphone on the cruise ship, there will be alternatives to all this. They may not be as convenient or as easy as the smartphone option, but just because you don't have a smartphone doesn't mean you won't be able to do your muster drill, for example. A third way that I've seen the smartphone being used on cruise ships currently is paper menus have gone away for the most part and replaced our QR code on the table where you can scan that with your smartphone camera app and it will bring up the menu for the restaurant that you're eating at so you can scroll through and see the menu. So menus is a big one. Reservations, this is one that's becoming more and more prevalent, whether it's reservations for dining, reservations for a show. Previously Previously, you'd sometimes have to go to a desk, or you'd have to get on the telephone to get your specialty dining reservation or your show reservation. You have to go to the box office. Now you can just pull it right up on the phone, do it from wherever you are at. The daily planner, this is a big one. Many cruise lines reducing the paper of having the daily planner in your room, and now all the activities are listed right there on the app. It's good and bad. I know a lot of people like to take the daily planner and highlight it, but there's a lot of functionality in some of these daily planners on the cruise ship where you can star and tie a notification to it, which is really nice, because I know I've gone through and I picked a few things to do on the cruise ship, and then I forgot, I lost track of time. But with this digital thing, I really like that you can get a notification that, oh, you got something coming up in 15 minutes. I think that's a great feature. As we mentioned in the news story, chat. Many of these cruise lines are putting a chat feature in their app. Most of them are charging for it, but the ability to stay connected with your shipmates without having to use like the old I left you a note kind of thing. That's the evolution. Number 7, and this one's helpful. Most of these apps have a ship map. And so if you find a venue that you want to go to, or a restaurant or something, and you don't necessarily know where it is on the cruise ship, you can highlight it, and some of these apps will give you directions to it, or at least they'll show you a deck plan so that you can get some idea of how to get where you're going. Number 8 on my list, you're starting to see food and drink for delivery being ordered. I'm thinking of pizza delivery on Carnival. They can bring you pizza and sodas. I believe they can bring you beer now anywhere on the cruise ship based on your interaction with the app. And then the 9th way that I see the smartphone used probably the most on the cruise ship, a lot of people are using the smartphone as their primary camera for photos and video. Real quick, I leave anything off of this list of 9? What's something else you've seen the mobile device used for on the cruise ship? And what do you use it for the most? Leave a comment below. Now, I do have a few ways that I'd like to see the mobile device used. Before I get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. This is what I would like to see. One of my favorite things in life is to order something in advance and then go pick it up. Could you imagine that on a cruise ship? You wake up, you want that specialty coffee from the coffee bar, but you don't want to have to go down there and stand in line. Wouldn't it be great if I could just say, hey man, hook me up with that iced coffee? You could pay for it right there on your mobile device, and then you could just go and pick it up. Same thing with a bar drink. There's a lot of complaints out there. Wow, I can hardly get the bartender's attention. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a bar, a designated spot on the cruise ship where you could pre-order your drinks, pay for it right there on the app, and go get it? Same thing with food. You know, it would be cool if you could have a pickup where it's not necessarily tied to delivery, where you could order and pay and then go pick up your food. I think that would be super cool. Closely related to that, what about room service? I think for most cruise lines, room service is still a phone call. And get all that going on. That seems like a place where they could leverage the technology of a smartphone, where late night you could just order up your grilled cheese sandwiches or whatever, and the whole thing could be automated. Room service. And now this is really trippy, and I don't know that people would like this. Could you imagine if you made your MDR selections, your main dining room selections, by mobile device? You could do it right there at the table, but could you imagine like how like streamlined that would make the MDR process? You could put your like 4 escargots in right there and have everything ready so that it would be right there for the servers. Boom, they're going to serve you all the food. I can't see him getting there, but I think that would be a pretty interesting experiment to try, to have your MDR selections that you could make before you go to dinner on the phone. That'd be wild. Now, I've got one more on the what would be cool list, and I'll tell you why it would be cool. But remember, after this, we're going to talk about this very controversial issue. Do people even use smartphones on cruise ships? We did a poll. I'm going to give you the results. But how about this? Wouldn't it be nice if you could book there's some things that happen on a cruise ship where the price is questionable. I've heard this from more than one person. You get sold a spa package, and then all of a sudden it's more money than you thought. You thought you were getting one thing, but then it was more money. I think it would be cool if you could use the mobile device to pick out your spa treatment, that you could get a total for that spa treatment, that you could determine whether or not you had to apply a gratuity, and then you could do all that in the mobile app and pay for it even before you went and got your spa treatment. That way there wouldn't be any weird uncomfortableness at the spa. That's just an enhancement. Any developers out there on the cruise ships, those are just some ideas. And again, I'm sure you have some great ideas also. Leave those in the comments. Now let's get to the controversy. A lot of people out there, look, you shouldn't be carrying your cell phone around with you on the cruise ship. That's not what cruising's all about. That's not what vacation is all about. So I asked the question, do you carry your smartphone around with you all day on the cruise ship? 8,700 of you responded, and overwhelmingly 75% of you said yes. 25% of you saying no, you did not, and 25% is pretty significant. I mean, a fourth of you are saying I don't carry the mobile device. And so that's why there's still alternatives to this technology. But as time goes forward in that cruise life, I think technology is going to win the day. I think instead of saying, how do we figure out how not to use this technology? I think we got to start asking the question, how to use this technology better. What do you think? Mobile device usage, what's the best way on a cruise ship? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Please hit the like button, or I'm going to cause your phone to get a critical update right when you're trying to finish your DoorDash order. You can't get your lunch. It's Tony with Lido, Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.